So with our handsome Mr. Z, ready Zeus? Nice job. So we were going to warm up with some ways to create focus on you, the handler. Obviously, we know about the find it exercise with the reorientation back to you. So as your puppy comes in close, you could go yes, and then toss the food away. You can, again, feed them for when they come to you as well. So right here, if he's more of a drive-by guy, I want to make sure he kind of takes the moment to pause, check in, and then move away. So again, I might do another little find it. So again, find it's just a great way to get your puppy up and wiggling and then have them go from the environment, nice, back into your bubble. So from the find it's, again, I like to work a simple name recognition game. So as he's out and about doing his find it, or he was distracted by the environment, we could go Zeus, yes. He's like, take that. And then that way you're working with their name being positive. A lot of times we will, by mistake, say, hey, you, and like knock it off, or, no. Remember that a lot of times no's and that's enough, or whatever it might be, is if your puppy doesn't understand what you want them to do instead, yelling no might just startle them, but they may not realize what the problem is. They may not realize that what you're yelling about is something that you're not liking, but instead now they're thinking that at times we can be startling, overwhelming, or at times intimidating. So remember, no might stop the behavior because your dog got startled or overwhelmed, but for a lot of them, no doesn't give any more information as to what you would rather have them do. So I'm not a fan of no unless you've somehow taught that no means come check in. Oh, that one rolled way too far, Zeusy. He's like, lady, that was very sad. Nice job. So sadly, it rolled way out of the environment. So he's like, maybe we can still go get it. And now he's got the zoomies. Wild, man. So if there's a moment, ready, sit, where your puppy turns into a little bit of a land shark, there can be moments where all of a sudden you could be mid-training and your puppy decides it would be really cool to come barreling into you and either jump on you or mouth you or pummel you sweetly. What I find can be helpful is obviously keep the training session short. So if at times he's actually getting overtired or overstimulated, going and going and going and trying to ask for more out of him might have the opposite effect. Ready, sit. You could always try for some stationary skills, but I feel that when they're most wild, find it's are probably your best bet. So let's say he was getting too ramped, I might do a nice big chunk. So what I mean by that is, as opposed to one snack and then the find it, I would do several where let's say he's coming at me, he's a little too jazzed, we could try for that little sitting, and then I might go yes. If the sitting was too hard, we go right into him coming towards me and then right into a nice big jackpot on the ground. So I know, again, when your babe gets more refined later, you could simply ask for a sit. You could ask for an eye contact or a check-in. But sometimes in the beginning, movement is easier for youngsters than to be told to be stationary when they're having a hard time. So now we've done some of these beautiful moments where we'd send him away for a snack. You would then go ahead and go, Zeus. Nice. And if he's a little eager beaver, I want to make sure too, when he's getting his snacks, he's soft. So at times, if your puppy is getting really excited, their mouths turn into their own little creatures. And at times what that means is their way they're nibbling or biting is sometimes a bit harder than usual. So again, sit. And notice how he's doing like a little bit like where he's like, let's wrestle. And I'm like, oh, not so interested, but thank you. So if, let's say, your puppy is taking food harder, it normally means this is very nice. So if he's going to offer some softness, I'm going to go ahead and capture these moments to make him feel there's value in going from woohoo to calm again. If it's always go, 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 your puppy may not ever realize how to simmer and sort of slow it down a little bit. But if he's taking his food hard, back to that typically means he's getting overtired, overstimulated, or overwhelmed. So you have to watch your whole babe's body language and make sure that while you're working in certain bubbles or certain environments or with certain distractions, that might be the reason why they're taking their food even harder, because they're overwhelmed or too excited. So remember, the mouth can be a little bit of a barometer to feel it out and see how he's feeling. So with Mr. Handsome, now he's a little bit softer and kind of stationary, as opposed to doing a find it with name recognition. Now we might go into a lovely, again, look, which means to get eyes on my face, and then yes, to feed him. So a look behavior, there's a couple different slogans. So some people will call it look, watch me, focus, eyes. There's a lot available. So in the beginning, if your puppy had no idea how to do this, oh my gosh, chewing's optional. So let's say your babe had no idea how to work a look behavior or whatever slogan you'd like to pick. You're going to show the puppy the snack, offer it to their little sniffer so they get some engagement. He's already very much so focused. So I might have the food and go, look, and then yes to feed. So in the beginning, the food might help create the behavior. I know, so hardworking, so many big skills. So if, let's say, getting some looks is easier, while you might even say their name and then pair it with a look, that would be okay. But you want to make sure that their name doesn't always have to equal a stare down. It's like, let's do this. All right, Mr. Handsome Pants, ready, set. He says, I'm a wild monkey. So I might go again, look, and then yes to feed. I'm also feeding flat palm at times, because if your puppy is a little bit more of an alligator, we don't want them to, while you have the food in your fingertips, is grab onto your fingers by mistake to get the paycheck, because then your puppy might think, food gets released as I nibble the hand, or they don't always know they're even nibbling the hand. So make sure that if your puppy doesn't quite know where your hands and the puppy's food starts, then that would be a moment where I would recommend to feed flat palm or feed the ground. So again, working with those looks. If your puppy's already honed in, you can have the snack after. I sometimes like to put it in my other hand, get my look, and then yes to feed. So I'm looking for a continuous eye gaze, so I keep it short and sweet for the beginning. If, let's say, the looks are looking really nice, you could try another couple other skills. So one of my other favorites is what's called the two-hand cookie game. So this one, unlike a look or name recognition where you're asking your puppy to check in with a certain cue, this one doesn't actually ask with a verbal cue or a visual. So what this ends up doing, and he's just grabbing a drink real quick, is with the two-hand cookie game, this can help build up your dog's focus back to you, with your hands doing other things, with your treat pouch often doing something else, with the environment maybe being a little distracting. And what this teaches the pup is that no matter what might be going on, giving the eye contact is what made the paycheck show up. So after Mr. Z is done drinking his water dish, he's like a camel, got a tank up. Ready, sir? So I'm just going to feed him for that beautiful checking back in.